Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Clash Royale episode. So, before we kick today's episode off, I'd just like to give a little shout out to some new subscribers and friends, Avinash24 and Kieran from the FSA Royale. It's great to have you all here watching these videos, guys. And to some old subscribers who've been sticking with me for a really long while now. So, special thank you to Camilo and Kiefer. So I'm really sorry if I pronounced your names wrong. I've never really said names like yours before, but I'm really glad I got to know you all in the process of making these videos. It's been nice having you all just support me all this time and just encourage me to keep going. And you guys help me keep going with these videos. It really means a lot. So if you just look at that there, my opponent Lord Blackwood here, he zaps my spear goblins down just as they finish his tower, so they go down at the same time. So I'm sure you can see why I recorded this whole thing here, because his fireball for one could one-shot my musketeer very easily, which was pretty scary. That feeling when your cards could just get one-shotted by any of your opponent's cards, it honestly sucks. And what I didn't notice till the end of this fight actually was that my opponent was running a level 2 Lava Hound. Now, this ridiculous deck that I used to use, I'm not sure if I can give much tips on it. I mean, it's a horrible idea to play this deck, honestly. But if you're gonna play this deck and you know your opponent has like a Valkyrie or something, just spread out your troops. Don't put everything jammed together, because you're just asking to get value trades, and it's just not gonna work out at all. So space the Witch and the Musketeer out. The Musketeer will deal with the Valkyrie when they drop it for the Witch. So that's a little strategy that I used to use while using this deck. Now, if you're really serious about using this deck, also watch out for zaps. The zaps can be over leveled, and sometimes they can really just tear up your minions there really cheaply. So if you're trying to get rid of any troops with minions, you just want to make sure that you bait out the zap with the spear goblins or something. It usually works out, because you can't leave spear goblins down forever. They'll just chip away at the tower. Now, my opponent here is just stalling now, and it's actually gonna work out. The Lava Hound is like dropping a golem, but it flies, so it's just gonna keep everything in place for a while till it bursts. So I can't really push for a 3 crown, but I'm satisfied with 1 crown, and that's just gonna be a good game, honestly. So I hope you all enjoyed this fight here, and as we get right into the next fight, we'll be going back to some more recent replays. So I hope you all will just enjoy those, and we'll get right into it in just a sec. Okay, guys? Also, if the time of these recordings seem too long or too short, just let me know down in the comments, but I'm thinking of settling with 50 minutes as an average time. Alright guys, so we're back for the next fight here, and I'm using the version of my deck that didn't have the Ice Wizard Lumberjack yet, so a few things might seem a little bit out of place, but you'll get the general feel of the deck still anyhow you take it. So if you're using any of my decks or their variations, just let me know down in the comments. I'm eager to hear what you all have to say about them, how they've performed, and if they've helped you at all, if anything. So my opponent here, I'm not really sure how to read his name. He's Asian of some sort. I'm not sure which kind, but we can confirm he's Asian, folks. So let's just hope that he doesn't really have too much of counters for this Inferno Tower. Honestly, his best counters there are the Zap and probably the Princess from afar just sniping it. But what I had noticed was that he had a poison after a while. Also, look at this. The Inferno Tower actually burns down the Inferno Dragon. That was actually pretty funny in my opinion. It was just hilarious. So when that happens, it's kind of like ironic. It's like a royal giant beating down a giant deck, although that's actually more common. But yeah, you get the idea, folks. So I send in the miner close to his tower, but I make sure it's spaced out just enough so it doesn't target to the tower alone, and I just try to make a quick little push here on the right so that he doesn't get to back up the Hound much, except with that little Mega Minion. But look at the Valkyrie on the right. She's just doing work. So Valkyrie is like one of my favorite cards. She's pretty much in all of my decks. So it's just that she's so versatile, honestly. I can use her to tank for the back-end troops and kill them, giants or golems, pretty much anything that's on the ground. And she works well with the mini P.E.K.K.A here, and even better with the Lumberjack. Honestly, if they try to kill the Lumberjack too in my other version of this deck, she's just gonna get raged up, and when she's raged up, man, she does a lot of damage. Now, the minor wasn't necessary there. Honestly, that was a poor play on my part. Looking back on it, I really shouldn't have done that. But whatever I'm doing here, it's just pressuring my opponent just enough here. So now he has a really strong push coming in, and I need to defend this, guys. So out of desperation, I dropped my poison, and he drops his poison at the same time. It's a cross poison, folks. Yes, I know we're not playing Pokemon or anything, but it's cross poison, folks. You gotta live with this. So his tower is down really low. I kite the Inferno Dragon just a little bit, and that princess is actually annoying me. I hate seeing princess on my tower, so I just had to get rid of it. And just YOLO, right? YOLO. I just had to send a mini P.E.K.K.A. I figured he had nothing else for the mini P.E.K.K.A. by now, other than the Ice Wizard and Princess, really, and those aren't good cards to put down to defend a mini P.E.K.K.A. So with that, folks, I poison out his tower, and try as he might, he really can't make it to my tower and do much at all. So I'm just stalling at this point, and that's just a good game. So well played to this guy. I'm not really sure what his name is. If someone can translate it by some miracle or something of some kind, just translate his name for me, please, and let me know what it is. So we'll get right into the next fight in just a sec. Alright everyone, so we're back in Royal Arena here account, and we're fighting Mick. Now Mick here, he rushes with the Hog Rider, and I think I was playing this match at school and I just had a slight delay in my cannon placement, so I pretty much failed there. And look at this. He fireballs, and again, just like the first match I showed you all today, it one-shots my Musketeer, which is pretty sad, honestly. But the good news is that since he fireballed the Musketeer, I can use the Witch freely now. Honestly, using the Witch sometimes is better than a Musketeer, but for me, I like using them both in the same deck. They work out pretty well, because the Witch will just spawn her skeletons, and if the Musketeer and the Witch are together, provided they don't have a Valkyrie or Bomber or something, they work well, especially against single target units like a Prince or a mini P.E.K.K.A, unless they place really carefully and zap. Now, my opponent here, he's running a level 11 Knight. Honestly, this is such a low trophy range, really. 2000 trophies, 2100. It's pretty horrible to see a level 11 Knight. Honestly, level 9 commons by themselves are pretty scary at this trophy range, and when you don't have that high level card gap between you all, it's easier. But in these matches here, I'm just really underpowered. I mean, look at me. I'm level 7 versus a level 9 again here. I fought a level 10 once or twice. I even won 1 or 2 as a level 7, but that wasn't always the case because of just the sheer difference in card levels. Now, I know I have my own card levels leveled up pretty high, but where I am at on my main account, people generally tend to outplay you. Now, look at this. I was trying to use the skeletons to kite the baby dragon like I learned in an Orange Juice video, but I was still a noob back then. I failed pretty hard, honestly. So the tower just survives with a little bit of health, and I just arrow. I really didn't know what to do with my arrows anymore. I just had to get it out of my hand. And honestly, his knight is like a freaking giant, guys. It just has so much health. It does a lot of damage. I don't know. It was just really annoying. If you just look how fast my giant was dying just when it's exposed to the knight, it's just horrible. And look at this. He throws his fireball and wastes it, honestly. That spear goblin was about to take the tower, but I'm fine with that. I'm honestly fine with that because I get to continue pushing, and I'll be able to make a little comeback here and take his left tower. And when he tries to rush with the hog, I have a cannon ready. Cannon is a great card, even though mine was pretty under level for common, just like the rest of the common cards in this deck. It works out pretty well. So I try to use my common sense here, and I kite the baby dragon away slightly with the giant, and I'm just trying to push for that last crown there, because I know if I try to draw it out, he'll just fireball me to death. And now it's just a matter of spamming him, honestly. When I take down a tower with this deck, I'm just spamming troops both left and right of the arena tower. It's just horrible for my opponents. And with that, folks, the spear goblins just trickling in with their damage and arrows for the win. That's just gonna be a good game. So hope you all enjoyed the fight. We have just 2 more fights to go and we'll be done with this video for today. Alright guys, so as we get off into this last match here, I'm just gonna leave a little disclaimer. My opponent here, he's actually under level compared to me, but let me just say this. Never underestimate a player who is lower level than you, ever. I mean, at times I tend to do it myself, but just don't, guys. Don't do it. Underlevel players in higher level arenas, they are actually something you should be scared of, because if they can make it pretty high as a low level, that means they know exactly what they're doing with their deck and they've rehearsed their combos and defenses, etc. many times, so you gotta watch out for that. Yeah, so he baits my zap here with the minion horde. He just knew. My opponent here, actually, when I viewed his profile at the time, he was actually really close to 4k as a level 9. Now that is just insane, guys. If you ever made it that high as a level 9 in Legendary Arena, I mean, this is Hog Mountain now, but he was actually in Legendary Arena. He was over 3,900 and maybe 50 trophies before. So that just really amazed me, guys. So if you ever see any players like this out there, let me know. And above all, guys, do not underestimate them. So, as I've been looking at the progress of this channel recently, I noticed that we crossed 150 subs the other day. In fact, we're actually at 165 right now, so I appreciate the love you guys are showing me. It means a lot, guys. And if it's any consolation, I'd like to start doing some more interactive content with you all. So, let's say I make 300 subs before the year ends, even though I'm pretty sure I can make it now, given how fast we've been growing the channel. I'd like to start doing something like a Q&A segment. So if you don't know what that means, it's basically where you ask me a question and I'll just give you an answer. Now, I'm really not sure why I dropped that lumberjack. I was just trying to surprise him, but it works out, I guess, because my minions were able to cancel out his horde somewhat, and the ice wizard is just dunking on his left tower. So as he sends his goblin barrel now, I send a Valkyrie trying to defend, and I actually clear everything there. He tried to be tricky, he forgot I just zapped, and he actually decided to try and send the barrel pretty deep so that he could just trick me, but it didn't work out. But he's chipping away at my tower with that log. Honestly, log does a lot of damage. If you all didn't know, a level 1 log does actually more damage than a level 13 zap. Now that honestly pisses me off to no extent. So yeah, just watch out for chip damage via log. It gets really annoying. But as the match comes to an end here, we just have to lightning his tower, but he doesn't know I have lightning yet. If he did know I had lightning, he'd probably try to surround it with the minions longer. He wouldn't have really used them on defense, but that's just good game as the miner pops up. So that was really close, guys. I just have one more match for you all today. I hope you all are enjoying the video so far. If you are, just leave a like and let me know if you are enjoying it so far in the comments down below. Alright guys, so this last match up here, it's actually a guest fight from my friend Name. Now, he's one of the top players in my country. He's not number 1, but he's pretty good himself. I've seen him play. He does fairly well. And yeah, he's just got this really heavy Elite Bob deck here with the Golem. Golem and Elite Bobs, I know it's really expensive for one and really risky, but it works. Honestly, it terrifies me to know that that these people up here, they just run so expensive decks. Now, he changes up his deck a lot, but from what I've seen, he's capable of making really good decks. And look at this, he actually predicted that his opponent was gonna drop the barrel deep, just like I tried to do a few times in the previous video that I showed you all. Except he missed that one goblin and I missed 2. But yeah, look at this. Minion Horde, I've never really been a fan of Minion Horde. I know it's a great card, but look at this. Even on half after that, print them for a second. I don't know, they just come back so hard there for him. They just really tear up a tower fast. I've never seen minions that much damage so fast. Like, I don't expect them to do too much, but if you leave minions on your tower, it's a horrible idea, guys. Like, just 3 elixir minions alone and you decide to just take the damage. Sometimes in the long run it's not worth it, because you're like, oh, they're just minions, what can they do? They'll die to almost anything, right? That's where you're wrong, folks. That's where you're wrong. It's like leaving the skeleton army, and I've done it a few times myself, thinking I could just save elixir and just go for the stronger push, but there are certain times you really should have it, just saying. So blue is getting a little bit smarter here now. He's dropping his giant to kite the executioner for most of its damage, and as he throws in this goblin barrel here, Name deploys the skeleton army right at the bridge to try and take care of that musketeer, and he's after away everything there from his tower. So the princess now, The princess might be a little bit annoying for him, but the executioner deals with it pretty well. And now it's just double elixir, so anything can happen here, folks. Anything at all. So even though it's late game, Name decides to pump up, and pumping up is generally what you should do early game. Now, his opponent saw that he dropped the pump and tried to sneak in a musketeer knowing his skeleton army wasn't in rotation, but that's really risky at times. The only time I try to sneak a musketeer in is probably if a tower is already down. So yeah, now he's just stacking up on his executioners here, and he drops the golem. The golem, folks, is a comeback card, honestly. If you haven't used golem yet before, try it out, but be careful of how you spend your elixir in the match. The way to play heavy decks, especially with golem is concerned, you have to make positive trades all the time. Like, keep making positive elixir trades for the early half of the match. If you don't know what I mean by that, it's just like using less elixir to counter troops that are more expensive. Like spending 2 elixir on a zap that used to kill goblins in one shot, and then just keep doing that. Overall, you gotta keep doing that. Now, the golem here is just pushing its way through everything there, just dying really fast, but it's not gonna give up. It's gonna keep heading to that tower no matter what. And if you all didn't know, golem has good death damage, and just look at this. The death damage as well as a punch or two from it just barely manages to take down that tower, and blue is just furious right now. So I hope you all are enjoying these videos. Thanks again for stopping by again, everyone, and I hope to see you all in the next episode. Peace out, guys.